Late night television, as we know it, is on its deathbed. Everyone in the world right now is in the business of maximizing clicks, and somehow talk show hosts have all decided that there are only two ways to go about it: the lowest common denominators of the American cultural discourse, mindless celebrity games, or constant political commentary. Hosts like Jimmy Fallon and James Corden will fall over themselves while fawning over famous actors, musicians, athletes.
You went to London.
While hosts like Stephen Colbert will bring back most conversations to Trump, even though he's been out of office for God knows how many years now.
Speaking of which, the tangerine ball bag, the quarter flounder, marginally sentient spray tan, Walker taxes evader, the Floridian fondler, Scooby-Coo, Covfefool, Dolt 45, Tangerine Palpatine, the traffic cone of treason.
Disappointing as it is also absurd. The outdated format of a monologue, of sidekick banter, and PG-13 scripted interviews are remnants of a bygone era. And frankly, their declining ratings reflect this. Here is an article from CNN Business talking about why the economics of a late-night talk show have been on the decline for the last 10 years. Here is another article talking about why, in this day and age of social media, people are not attracted to fake bullshit. I would rather listen to my favorite celebrity on a 90-minute podcast than see him play stupid games for a 10-minute bit on late-night TV. Their back is against the wall, they're getting desperate, and their content reeks of inauthenticity. But what if there was a comedian who wanted to encourage the awkward and the weird in pursuit of a riveting conversation? What if there was somebody who wanted to expose the silliness of the format that we've come to accept? Perhaps the only way to do it would be to turn the absurdity dial all the way up.
It's amazing fun. You do this every day. Sometimes. That is amazing. And you get. It's fascinating.
Lonely, unmarried, looking for love. Life was passing me by. So I sent off my photo, hobbies and age. Magazine marriage I'd try. They say for centuries, lovely Japanese girls have been trained in the art of pleasing men. Be lonely no more, open destiny's door. For $1 they arrange a meeting.
For 10 whole years, Craig Ferguson bucked the trend and revolutionized the late-night television industry from within. He deconstructed all of the crazy elements, whether it's the live band, the zany sidekick, or scripted pre-interviews. His sidekick for almost a decade was a gay robot skeleton, for crying out loud.
What is he? A gay robot skeleton?
Skeleton, yeah.
Right, I
That's
can
right.
see he's a skeleton, see he's a robot. His name's Jeff. But what have you done that's gay? What's
Why
the
don't you
gayest
come over
thing?
here and I'll show you?
Ferguson actively sought the unrehearsed and the spontaneous. On certain days, he put the talk back in late-night talk shows. The conversation flowed like magic. It was like watching expert improv or incredible chemistry play out live on stage.
Do you know, I went to, very recently I was in a bar in Scotland, in rural Scotland, and I went into the restroom, and there was a sign up, right, one of these public announcement signs in the bar, and it showed, it was a drawing of teenagers dancing, and, about to have sex, and it said, everyone's out and about, including chlamydia.
Chlamydia, your dad's here. He parked the van out back. We didn't know. I saw it in a medical dictionary and I named you.
No, I find it very difficult to talk to you.
Is it the shoulder?
No, it's not the shoulder. Well, the shoulder's part of it.
What's the other part?
All the other parts.
Blushing a little bit.
No, you're not.
And sometimes the preference for unscripted conversations led to incredibly honest and vulnerable moments that you wouldn't expect from a late-night talk show. In 2009, Craig won the Peabody Award for his captivating discussion with Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Ferguson manages the conversation with Tutu effortlessly, showing his natural curiosity and a reverence for the subject. Between the many laugh lines, the pair talk about suffering and forgiveness, and meditate on the nature of good and evil itself.
I think you're crazy.
You think I'm crazy? Well, what on earth gave you that idea? Now, you've met some crazy. I mean, P.W. Bota was crazy.
No, a different kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You send them to asylums.
Yeah.
No, not you. We want you.
Oh, really?
We want your craziness.
You're a theologian. You studied the religions of the world, particularly your own, I would imagine. You know what So what I'm thinking is, did you ever read Thomas Aquinas?
A little bit.
Right, you know Thomas Aquinas when he goes on about how people are essentially good, and for evil to exist, evil is an aspect of good. That if evil were the only thing, then there would be nothing. That's Thomas Aquinas, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you find the good when you're dealing with a situation that you and Mr. Mandela were dealing with the Praetorian government? Where do you find the good in these people? Where do you find the ability for truth and reconciliation?
Yeah.
It's hard to fake that level of sincerity and that level of empathy on camera. People can just see through it. In yet another instance of vulnerable conversation, Craig publicly refused to make fun of Britney Spears' public meltdown at a time when every other late-night talk show host was dunking on her.
I threw in the towel with alcoholism 15 years ago, and I've been trying for the last 15 years to get little bits of it back. And it looks to me a little bit that Britney Spears has a similar problem going on with alcohol. This woman has 2 kids. She's 25 years old. She's a baby herself. She's a baby, you know. And the thing is, you can embarrass somebody to death. It's embarrassing to admit you're an alcoholic.
This is hard to do when your entire business is predicated upon either building celebrities up or tearing them down. Craig recognized and despised the fact that celebrities had to be put up on a pedestal, and took every chance to remind us of what truly mattered in the end.
It's a short time on this planet, man. It's a date, and then a hyphen, and then another date. And we're the hyphen. And I'm like, I'm not spending the whole time talking to celebrities, man. I'm not doing it.
It is this ability of his to express contempt for his position, his network, his job, and his willingness to admit his failures, to dwell on them, that was so endearing to his audience and what made him so beloved. That's because late night TV is a fantasy of sophistication, but also deeply inauthentic. What Craig delivered for 10 fucking glorious years was a beautiful reminder that life isn't a well-constructed string of funny stories, but a sometimes awkward, sometimes hilarious, but an always genuine attempt to keep pushing through.
I think what I hope we've done is maybe trying to, maybe art is a very grand word, but what I was trying to do here, and what I think that we've managed to do here, is make something that wasn't here before.